Okay, now we will look at another concept where from one function we will call another function. From one function we will call another function. Where did it go? Let me write it like this. Function 1, going to use the same name. Okay, so what is happening here? If you see, there are three functions here. One, function 1, which is basically having a single print statement. I am function 1. Same goes to function 2, which also has a simple print statement, which is I am function 2. Okay, there are two functions. We did not call them yet. Now I declared my third function, function 3, and from here I am also calling, right, function 2 and function 1. Function 1. Yeah, am I clear? So from one function, I'm calling another function. From one function, I'm calling another function. Now, what will be the output if I call this function? What will be the output?
Print. Okay. I'm function 3. In next line, I'm function 2.
Right. Right. So first, I'm calling function 3. It goes to function 3 and it executes the first statement, which is, and it prints I am function 3. Perfect. And after that it is calling function 2. Okay, it goes to function 2 and it has one statement and it is going to execute that and prints I am function 2. So the output is I am function 3, I am function 2. Now once this is done, okay, it will come back. Then we are calling function 1. So it goes to function 1 and executes function 1. And function 1's first statement is print statement, which says I am function 1 and it prints this. So the output would be I am function 3, I am function 2 and I am function 1. Clear?
Yes,
Let us
sir.
execute this.
Clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right? I am function 3, I am function 2 and I am function 1 and I am function 1. So you can always choose to call one function from another function. So here now I'm going to do a slight change. Right, I removed calling of function 1 from here and I'm putting it into function 2. If you see here, I'm calling function 3, which prints I am function 3 and it calls function 2. And function 2 execution starts, it has one print statement, it prints the statement and then it calls function 1. And function 1 calls another function, which is function 1, and then it prints I am function1, right? So this is how you get this printed. Same output, but different order. So function 3 is a called and function 3 calls function 2, function 2 calls function 1. And function 1 doesn't call anyone, so it stops the execution there. Did we understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me what happens in this case. Okay. Let me write this function. Okay. What is happening here? What is happening here?
A function within a function returns.
A function? Now, if I call this function, first I have to trigger that function. So here I go. I call this function. So it starts executing and it will print I am function test and it calls function test again. Yes, it is calling itself. It starts executing, it comes here, then it is calling itself. It is calling itself. So what is happening here?
Yeah, 2 times it is calling.
2 times?
It will repeating, sir.
Yeah.
It is continuously
Function.
going on in a loop, right? It is continuously going on in a loop. I called function test. It went and executed function test and function test calls itself. Function test calls itself. Then it will call the same function, same function, same function, and it keeps calling. There is no stop for it, right? It keeps calling, right? So I called function test and I executed function test and it is basically printing I am test and then it calls itself. Okay, then this guy calls again the same function. Okay, and again it says I am function test. Okay, what is now? Again it calling the same function. Again it goes here, same thing, right? I mean, it will never stop, right? But again, it will throw an error. But if you see here, right, from here it started. I am function test, I am function test, I am function test, I am function test, and it kept on going. It kept on going because it kept on going, and eventually it will throw an error called recursion error. It will throw an error called recursion. It called more than 99993 times, and hence Python basically blocked it. Right, maximum recursion depth exceeded. Okay, so there is a recursion issue. All right, so this function, right, this approach where a function calls itself, is called recursion, is called recursion. When a function calls itself is called recursion, and
Recursion.
recursions are always prone to error if they're not written properly. Recursions are always prone to error if not written properly. You have to write functions properly if you're calling the same function within. Okay, so this is called recursion. This is called recursion. Just like a while case. This is just like a while case. You remember the while? So if it is as far as the value is true, it keeps going on in a loop. Once the expression while expression becomes false, that is when your while loop stops. That is whenever while loop stops. Yes.
Yes,
Here
sir.
also,
Yes, sir.
this is also going in a
Yes, sir.
continuous recursion fashion. Continuous recursion fashion. So if at all, if this also has to stop, then this also depends on the same base condition. This also depends on the base condition. What is that? So if this keeps on going, right? So I want to stop it. So I will just say if, okay, let me pass a parameter to it, a, right? And what I'm going to say is a plus 1, and I'm going to pass value 0. If a equals a not equal to 10, I'm going to call this function. How many times this function gets called now? I just did one modification. Just did one modification. Tell me what happens.
Up to 10 times it can call, sir. Like it
Right.
condition becomes false, it will.
Okay. So I'm going to comment this out for a moment. Otherwise, this will throw an error. Okay. I'm going to execute this. Or else let me just add a also to it. Okay, the first, when I called this function, what was a value? A is 0 here. A is 0 when I call this function. This function takes one parameter and I'm passing 0 as a parameter. So a is 0, right? So it says I am function test and 0. And a not equal to 0, I'll call this function. Whenever a is not equal to 10, I'm going to call this function. So 0 not equal to 10, true? True or false?
True, sir.
True.
Right? Then it comes
Yes,
into
sir.
the if block and calls itself with a plus 1, which is 0 plus 1 is 1. Right? So it would have printed this. Yeah. In the same fashion, it keeps going further. And now it comes here. I am function test, right? Which is next value is 1. 1 not equal to 10, true. Then it calls itself with a plus 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Then it calls I'm function test and then it prints 2 and then 2 not equal to 10, true. And it keeps on going. It keeps on going and it comes to a state where we have reached 9, right? 9 and I am function test, it will say 9 and 9 not equal to 10, true. Then it calls itself with 9 plus 1, 10. Now it says I am function test and it prints a is 10 and now 10 not equal to 10 is a false case. 10 is equal to 10. But here 10 is not equal to 10 means it returns false and hence it is a false case. It will not come into the if block and it will not call itself anymore further. It will not call itself anymore further and your function execution stops. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me go back. What is the recursion?
Call
A
calling a
function,
function
Function
itself
calling
is
itself
called
call
recursion.
itself is called a recursion.
Right? A function calling itself
self.
is recursion. Okay, def a calling itself. So this is a recursion. So if I call this function and it is calling and it is calling itself, and with this will go until it hits recursion error. There has to be a stop for it. There has to be a stop for it. Right? If we don't stop it, Python will stop it with an error called recursion error. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a program and you have to tell me the output. Okay. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the output for this? And I'm calling this function.
Error.
Hold on. My bad. Now I'm calling this function with the parameter as 5. What will be the output?
No, 5 is equal to 5, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Like parameter, it will not call, I think. It will
But what is
throw
the
an
output?
error.
Mm-hmm. What is the output?
Like,
I'm calling it with parameter called 5 with a value 5. Right? It will go execute this function. Print A. Okay, what is the value? 5 was
5.
passed. Now is 5
Yes.
less than 5? False. And it's just not going to call this function. That's it. Your output will only contain 5. Right?
okay, sir.
Yes,
Right,
sir.
it will not throw any error as such. Okay, 5 is less than 5, which is false, then it will not, this function will not be executed. Cool. Right? And if I call this function, now what happens? If I call it with 1 as a parameter.
Yeah, A printed for 5 times or 4 times. Loop for 4
Right.
times.
Right. Tell me what is the value? What is the proper output?
5, 5, 5, 5.
Why will it print 5?
No, sir. First, it will print 5
No,
Okay.
1, 1, 1, 1.
and it will
Mm-hmm.
print 1.
Right. So this function call is 1 done. So this is done. Okay. Now I'm calling this function again with parameter 1. Tell me output for this.
You 1,
It will
1,
print 1,
1, 1,
1.
1 1. Okay.
Yes.
1, 1.
Wrong.
No, sir.
Think, see, watch this fun for program here. Watch this program, understand it, and then tell the output. I'm calling this function with value 1. What is my value a here? A is equal to 1 at the time of calling. And I'm going to print a, which is 1. Yes. And a 1 is less than 5. True or false?
Yes. True, sir.
True.
True,
Then I'm
sir.
calling this function again with value a
1,
plus 1, which is 1 plus 1, which is
1, 2.
2. And I'm saying print a 2. Done. 2 is less than 5. I'm calling
Yes,
function
sir.
again with a plus 1. 2 plus 1 is now a
3.
value in this loop current is 3. And what am I saying? Print a. It prints 3. Done. 3 is less than 5.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
True. Then it calls itself function a plus 1. What is the a value currently?
4.
4.
4.
3 plus 1 is 4. And the moment I get into this function, it says print a. And it is going to print 4 at that point in time. And 4 is less than 5.
Yes,
True.
sir.
I'm calling this function again with a plus 1, which is 4 plus 1 is 5.
5.
And I get into the same function and I say print a. What is the value of a? 5. And 5 less than 5?
False.
False. Right? And it will not call this function anymore. The function call ends. So hence you will get this as a output.
Yes, sir.
Understood?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Now I'm going to give one homework, which is going to be write factorial using recursion. Factorial using recursion. We have seen factorial with the loops. Now you have to write factorial using recursion. That is your homework. Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Okay,
Right.
sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Now tell me what will be the output for this. Let me just do this. Okay, I'm going to write two programs here. Okay, this is also homework. Okay. There will be a particular output that would be print. Okay. Okay, rather output I'll tell. So this one will print 4, 3, 2, 1. If I call it as recur as 4, sorry, recur as 5. Okay, one moment, not 5. 1. And if I this function will print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this also 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the output would be like this. This is a proper order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one will say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. I want you go analyze, find out what is happening, and then tell me.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
These two are homework for today. One, you have to write a factorial using recursion, and the second is you have got two functions. This output or here, go execute it. And why is that one is in a ascending order, another one in a descending order? Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
All right. Then I'll see you guys in the evening, and I want this to be done by evening. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
Yes, sir.
all right, guys. Thank you then. Have a good day.